Come stop and take a trip down on my block, where you see hidden potential, young minds sharper than Ginsu, and ain't afraid to speak their mind if they got something against you. We standing with you, we tackle issues like civic pride. Hate will cease to exist, let's put our differences aside. From my side to your side, from Dutchtown to South Side, from Penrose to North Side, from Benton Park to Old North, the West End to West Side. We blessed when we step out, we stand down, rise up, stand together, wise up.
This is StitchCast Studio, produced by St. Louis Story Stitchers in St. Louis, Missouri.
This week, StitchCast members have a conversation about music with MTM Lil Derik in this live edition of StitchCast Studio.
They say who that, but you already knew that. That be them story stitches, story stitches, story stitches, story stitches, story stitches.
Hello, everybody under the sound of my voice. I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of StitchCast Studio. Not only is this another episode of StitchCast Studio, but this is actually the first StitchCast Live of the season. Everybody clap it up one more time now that we officially in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And starting off, it only makes sense that we start off by combining two very, very big topics that StitchCast loves to talk about, and that's mental health and music. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do a lot of talking about music. We got a special guest from the St. Louis music scene. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into all of that. But real quick, just say what's up to him in the building.
What's good? What's good?
Hey.
Power and present.
Yo, what's poppin'?
I'm in the building. And we also got my guy. I'm talking about, man, you've been doing music for, man. Let's see. When I met you, I was a freshman. I was a freshman in high school, and you was rapping then. We ain't got to talk about how long ago that was. But it wasn't 5 years ago. It wasn't 6 years ago. It wasn't 7 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Mm-mm. So that being said, no. We said we ain't going to talk about that. Oh, okay. But long story short, this individual has been not only making music for a long time, but has been really dedicated for a long time. So most of us start off, we write a rap here and there. You know what I'm saying? We don't really take it super serious yet. But we still consider ourselves artists, you know what I'm saying? We still look at ourselves as somebody that's gonna make it or whatever the case was. This man was serious about this back then, you know what I'm saying? Like he been going crazy for the longest. I'm talking about tens of thousands of streams, you know what I'm saying? Last year hit 10,000 monthly listeners, you know what I'm saying? Dropped a dope project called Into the Dragon, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of dope artists on that project. Headlined the Dark Room not too long ago, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely went crazy, bananas. Live band, he had on the all red suit, like went stupid with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about just went crazy. Oh man, I could keep going because he constantly doing things, you know what I'm saying? But I need y'all to make noise for MTM Lil Derik with me. Clap it up for him, y'all. Man. So let's talk about it, bro. Like, you've been at it for a nice amount of time, you know what I'm saying? Not just that, but like I said, you've been serious about it for a nice chunk of time, you know what I'm saying? Sure. What was the turning point for you, you know what I'm saying? Not particularly when did you start music, but what made you serious about it, you know what I'm saying? What made you like, no, I gotta make this happen?
Okay, so the turning point for sure for me where I consider that like the point where I really believed in myself and felt like you said, like I can really do this as a career. And that was my junior year at Central VPA. I did a talent show. I had Jawad, my boy Jawad Span played saxophone. Dez was playing on the drums. And I did it was like a remix freestyle to The Ride, which was, you know, my verses also were kind of prevalent to like what was going on in the school at that time. And, you know, I had like a Ray Park shout out in that mug and everything. But long story short, the reaction that I got from that performance very much gave me chills, you know what I'm saying? Like I could feel tears coming up to my eyes and everything, just the reaction from the crowd, the standing ovation, like that showed me, okay, that was the first time, because I've been performing my whole life, but that was the very first time I performed my own stuff in front of a crowd like that, and I got that reaction to where it was like, dang, they they love what I just did. They resonated with the music that I wrote. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference between getting a standing ovation performing somebody else's music or dancing to somebody else's music or acting in a musical or a play or whatever. But when it's something that you wrote that like conveys people enough to give you a standing ovation, which is basically one of the highest praises you can get as a performer, it made it clear to me that like, okay, I'm really meant to do this, and my words have enough power to resonate with my peers, which is, you know, my target audience in so many ways is a lot of my peers, you know what I'm saying? So that was like the turning point where I was like, okay, it's time to lock in.
That's emotional for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Still to this day.
Yeah, you crying.
To this day.
You crying. I'm like, hold on. Is he
To
crying?
this day,
We in the first-
like I said, that's like really the moment where I knew like I can do this, like for sure.
That's real. That's real. I'm curious as to what is the moment that you're most proud of as an artist so far in your career?
Ooh, so boiling down to one is like nearly impossible, I feel like. But off the top of my head, headline in the dark room, that's something that I had. And again, the round of applause that I was able to get, especially when I performed My Love, like I can feel the energy through the video of rewatching it. So that's definitely one of my most proudest moments. And then I say the other two is like coincides with each other. The moment when I hit 1 million all-time streams on Spotify and the moment that I hit 1 million all-time streams on Apple Music, which I'm over 1 million on both of those platforms all time, which it's been a minute, you know what I'm saying, since I've been dropping on those platforms. But yeah, those probably my most proudest moments as an artist right now.
I think we gotta clarify too that a minute for you ain't a minute for the average artist, because you drop frequently, you know what I'm saying? Like we was having a conversation late last year and you said you was on what, Project 24 or something like that? Project 27 or something?
With the EPs, I probably got at least like 10 EPs and I got 5 or 6. I got like 5 solo albums, I would say, because I got collab albums too.
Are you counting mixtapes, all of that?
I got one mixtape that I don't count into that. But if we add that, yeah, it's probably over 25, I'd say, to be honest.
Bro,
because I went years of
bro.
dropping like 2021 through 2024. I probably averaged at least like 3 EPs a year during those years, sometimes more.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You already know what time it is. Time for another StitchCast Studio Arts Interlude. That's right, we about to pick the city up. This week, we have a Story Stitches original piece entitled Who's Ready?
Yeah. I've been drowning in sorrow-filled water fountains, not asking for pity parties, no pardon partners around, and I've calculated the odds, but what good is knowing to count when I count it up, count it down? I've already been counting out, it don't matter. Show too much of my valor, give up at hard times I haven't, but from the data I've gathered, rumor has it the captured act like they captors, the captors act like they captured. Ain't never been down with movement unless the movement is backwards, but I'm ready.
Be ready for violence to stop. Get ready for change to come. Who's ready? We're ready for a revolution. Who's ready? We're ready for the violence to stop.
Who's ready?
We're ready.
Who's ready?
We're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready for the violence to stop.
I said who's ready?
We're ready.
Who's ready?
We're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready for the violence to stop.
Looking at my city and I see it is in trouble. Instead of facing each other, they out here facing muzzles. People dropping left to right, I'm seeing families crumble. We gotta help each other cause we're all part of the struggle while we hurting each other. I look and I see double. There's so much hurt and hopelessness that lies beneath the rubble. But if we set aside the differences, we can make change. We just gotta be humble, make our way through the rain. Cause I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing pain. The gang banging is old, gun violence is beyond lane. If we're not trying to save our city, then we're living in vain. Cause people out here taking lives like it's a video game. What I'm saying isn't make-believe, cause anything is possible. And if we work together, we can obliterate these obstacles. So put the gun down, get up, and join this movement. Cause there's strength in numbers, so let's get to it.
We ready for the violence to stop. Get ready for the violence to stop.
With the R-E-Volution, the kids of the future, the change to come. Put the gun down, stop aiming at our heads. Don't put us in the dirt, feeling like the target on a storage stitch shirt. But we can talk it out, we should talk it out. Listen, shh, can't you hear our voices now singing? We should overcome any stereotype. Not the ones to conform, but to give off light. We have the power in our hands, so we the people need to vote. The biggest generation has the hardest time trying to cope with pain. Seems like every other day it rains in my hood, but somehow we're still singing that it's all good. It's not. Black on black crimes got our city in the prime of its worst time. I'm hurt time cause we flirt time with a beast. Instead of slaying Goliath, think I'm playing about the streets. Don't give up on this now, this is starting something unique.
Violence, put down the gun. We will not be silent. It's time for a revolution. No more violence. Put down the gun. We will not be silent. It's time for a revolution. We ready, we ready, we ready for violence to stop. Get ready, get ready, get ready for change to come. Who's ready? We ready, we ready for a revolution. Who's ready? Who's ready? We ready, we ready for the violence to stop.
Who's ready?
So yeah, you actually drop pretty frequently. Like I feel like even that ain't doing it justice. You know what I'm saying? Like you, I remember hearing "Tale of a '90s Baby." This was what
2020, top of 2020. Yeah.
So I remember hearing "Tale of a '90s Baby," and then I felt like not too long after that you was talking about "Tale of a '90s Baby" Part 2.
Yeah. So
And
that
I'm
was
like,
actually
bruh.
something that changed because initially it was gonna all be one project. And then I was like, you know what, kind of feeding into the fact that even in 2020, like people's attention span was dropping. People weren't going to try to be listening to like a 24 song album from somebody that they don't know. But we drop this down to like 14, and then we do another 14 later. So I take the 10 that I didn't and then add a couple to it, and now we got a part 2 that I can drop in the second half of the year. And I'm honestly happy that we did it that way. I made that decision because part 1 dropped on January 24th. 2 days later, Kobe passed, who was one of my biggest inspirations. So that allowed me to be like, okay, we gonna take this next album. It's gonna kind of be a tribute to Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Where I had like the Kobe bass cover where they put my head on his body, and then we had like different clips of Kobe just saying motivational things and talking about the mama mentality to tie in that tape. Because part 1, I had like a whole bunch of voicemails on my phone. I still do, honestly. I don't check my voicemail that much, but I had a whole bunch of voicemails from financial aid, Mizzou, McDonald's when I was working there in like high school. You know what I'm saying? Like I had years of voicemails that I hadn't used from family and friends. So I was like, we gonna clip these voicemails into the Tales of a 90s Baby Part 1 to just, you know, kind of tell a loose story or get people to know me more, or even know people that's around me or things that I'm doing. You know, so it just worked out that way. But yeah, that was 2020. And then from there, I got the ball running for real. I dropped one more project in 2020 at the end of 2020. And then from there, it was like every couple months, a EP. I just was blessed to have like so many different people wanting to work with me. So whether it was me and another artist or me and a producer, I was just locked in, just working. But at the same time, I was working on Enter the Dragon too. So like this was always playing. Enter the Dragon was called something totally different at first, you know what I'm saying? It was gonna be called Player of the Year, and then it just changed.
That's a
like,
hard title.
Yeah, like last year is when I changed it though. Like literally, I was like, this don't really fit the theme of the album no more. I feel like Enter the Dragon is a better one. Just, you know, the way everything was going. The previous year was the Year of the Dragon, 2023 was. So yeah, it just all lined up perfectly on that note.
I feel that, and Bruce Lee is the greatest to ever do it too. So you know what I'm saying. So you know what I'm saying.
To do
perfect.
what?
You said what?
To do what?
Do you know who Bruce Lee is?
Yes, I do.
Then what are we talking about?
You said he the greatest to do it. To do what?
He the greatest to do anything he ever did. That's what he did. Bruce, like. So like, alright. So y'all hip to Bruce Lee, right?
Yeah.
No, Muggs be treating me like an old head.
You talking about the fighter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
We're making
martial
sure we're
artist.
talking about the same one.
The martial arts actor. So yeah.
Yeah.
He's
we
an actor
familiar
too.
with.
Mugs ain't hip to
He
what
got
this
some of
is.
the. He got.
Okay,
he got
we know
some of
what
the
you're talking
greatest action movies of all time.
You feel me? Like a lot of okay. So even if y'all don't know who Bruce Lee is, I guarantee you, if you've watched a fighting movie, you know what I'm saying. If you watch the action
inspired
movie,
by him.
you feel me? You've seen something in that movie that was inspired by something that Bruce Lee has done.
That's a
You know what I'm saying? Like if you've ever seen Kill Bill, you know what I'm saying? The black and the black and yellow
gold,
jumpsuit.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's Bruce Lee. Anytime you ever see somebody with the nunchucks doing something, you know what I'm saying? That's Bruce Lee. You know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of anytime you see somebody taste
Taste the blood.
taste their blood, spit it out and get mad and scream or something like that. Bruce Lee, I'm telling y'all,
that was
this man's
always-
imprint is
Like, they,
everywhere.
They
you
even
know
got
what I'm
like
saying?
Bruce Lee shoes. Like Kobe got the Bruce Lees with like
Facts.
the scar on it. Like, so
Facts.
he a cultural,
Yeah, like-
he a cultural icon. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Bruce Lee goes stupid. Yeah, for sure.
Bruce
Shout out
Lee-
to Last
Bruce
Dragon
Leroy,
too.
You feel me? We don't.
Shout out Last
we don't
Dragon
get to
too.
Last Dragon and we don't get into
feel
the
me?
dragon.
Exactly.
You know?
You feel me?
That's my favorite movie of all time, by the way.
Yeah, I was just watching that recently.
I love that
But going back to artistry, I want to hear your take on the St. Louis music scene right now. I want to hear from y'all on how where y'all feel like St. Louis music is, even if y'all not like heavily active and practicing. You know what I'm saying? St. Louis music. Y'all do be outside. Y'all do come to a decent amount of shows. You know what I'm saying? And so I think y'all have a good idea of what St. Louis artistry looks like right now. So let's talk about it. Where do y'all think St. Louis artistry is? Where do y'all fit in where St. Louis artistry is? And what do you think you contribute to the art scene?
I would say, I feel like the music scene here is changing. And I feel like it's changing in a way to where people are being more collaborative, people are being more vulnerable, allowing themselves to really speak about things that they want to speak about. I feel like that's something that is definitely shifting. And I think it's really shifting because the infrastructure here, as far as how we operate as a community, how we operate as artists is changing. That a lot of us are starting to realize that like doing this solo, it don't work no more. But when we able to bounce ideas off of each other, even challenge each other and things like that, that we're able to hit heights of creativity and build momentum in a way that we had not been able to do before. And with a lot of the new venues and spots that's opening up, it's allowing us to be able to have different places to where we can try out different things. You know, to try this type of vibe here, try this vibe at this spot. And so I feel like it's allowing us to explore ourselves as artists. And I feel like for me, one of the things that I'm doing right now that I'm fitting into that is being able to be more immersive with myself as far as what I represent as an artist and how I show up with my gifts as far as the things I'm able to do. I'm not just a singer, you know, I'm a poet and I play instrument. So in my mind, being able to see how I can embed these into an immersive show, not just this one-off thing where people forget about it when they leave, but something that really sticks with them. And I feel like everybody up here, in one way or another, as artists, we're seeking to be able to make an imprint on people's lives with our art. Not just do it for ego or for fame, but like this is a part of us. Like for us, a lot of us, music saved us. And it was something that we needed in a time where our lives may have been not the best. So I feel like that's what's happening. That is what's continuing to occur. And the more that we are honest about that, the music scene here will change in a big way that will start to ripple effect into other communities.
That's real.
Yeah.
So, and anybody can chime in on this, but you did mention that the scene is changing. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. And you could kind of like feel that there's a shift happening or whatnot that's been happening over the, like I would say it started like somewhere around like the end of 23 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It may have even started sooner, but I know I caught on to it like around the end of 23 or so, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere in that area. I feel a transition happening. So my question is why? Like, why are things changing now?
You know what I think it is? I really think or feel what happened was that COVID really shifted people's relationship with themselves. A lot of us had time with ourselves to really reflect. Some of us run away from ourselves as long as we could and then come back. And I feel like our art took more of a depth from that. It allowed us to be able to look at more areas of ourselves. And I feel like it also made us look at our audience different. You know what I'm saying? We're not in front of people anymore. Sometimes we're doing it digitally or things of that nature. So it really, that period really changed the trajectory as far as how we see ourselves as artists and how we see our audience taken into our art. And so then when COVID finally subsided and we were able to come outside and things of that nature, I feel like it really led to this period of reestablishment, and also this period of not kidding ourselves about what it is that we want to accomplish, because we never know, you know what I'm saying, the time in which this thing may happen again. And so I feel like it really led a lot of people to take themselves seriously. And as we adjusted, you know, around 23, 24, people started to really not only work on their art, but start to understand that they have connection and nuances that they may have experienced that some other people may experience, which allowed a lot of people to collaborate with each other. Because that experience for all of us led to a kind of empathy that bled into us as artists, but also bled into us as people. So I feel like that's what really happened.
Yeah, I kind of want to agree with you on that. I also feel like a big factor of the shift, other than COVID, is, you know, a lot of the crime and some of the negative things that happen in the city, because I feel like it sounds messed up, but to appreciate the good, you have to experience the bad, and you have to go through it and see how it's affecting things, and you also have to see how the good is making things better. So I feel like a lot of these artists and people who are paying attention to these artists are seeing how, you know, the art benefits not only just the community, but the artists themselves too. So
that's true. I think the shift also came when a lot of outside people outside of the city started looking at St. Louis, because of artists like Smino and Sexy Red start blowing up. So now people are like, what's going on in St. Louis? It really made the artists in St. Louis really tighten up and really try to deliver good art.
I feel that's valid.
Yeah, I was gonna say that to me is the main catalyst. I think that St. Louis has always been a music city, but I feel like it's been gaps in time where like we didn't have a major artist from St. Louis being played on the radios, being played, you know, being known nationally or even globally, and now we do have several artists like that. I think also, you know, I always say St. Louis is the biggest small city and the smallest big city. So in so many ways, a lot of other cities, just like if you look back to like the golden age, and I say the golden age of like hip hop, and at least to explain it, if you look at it, when hip hop really started popping, it was like the East Coast popped, then the West Coast popped, then the South popped, and then the Midwest had its explosion with Nelly, which put on people like Chingy and everybody else that came after them in that early 2000s era. And if you look at it now, even we may be due for like more regional success if you look at that trend, because you look at it, then it went back to, you know, a lot of East Coast rappers popping up. The South, the East Coast and the West Coast never really let go of their strongholds, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like we did as a Midwest, we like missed out on a good couple of years. And a lot of it's crazy because you look at certain artists that would fit that bill, who he didn't even say SZA, who's bigger than Sexy Red and Smino. But a lot of people look at SZA and be like, I didn't even know she was from St. Louis, you know what I'm saying? Same with Metro Boomin. I was just talking to somebody a couple weeks ago. It was like, that Metro Boomin from St. Louis? Like, some of our bigger artists and creators, people don't even know are from our city. But I do feel like as a region, the Midwest in general, but St. Louis, like, we are due for another, essentially, music renaissance for our music to be one of the ones on the forefront as far as a region or a city. And I do think that we got a lot of eyes on us from outside the city, which has led to people in the city, like you said, like really wanting to tighten up and be ready for if or when the opportunity comes for them to have a big break or have a big moment and perform at the venues that we've dreamt of performing at, you know what I'm saying? So
I think it's actually a combination of what all of y'all said, for real. Like, I think there was like this domino effect that happened that just kind of led to this perfect storm of why wouldn't you pay attention to St. Louis right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, including artists being locked down during COVID. At least I can't speak for nobody else, but I know when I was working from home during COVID, I'm talking about I was doing writing exercises daily, drills daily. You know what I'm saying? I was reading books on the history of hip hop and hip hop business and all, like, you know what I'm saying? Just really pushing myself as an artist and figuring out how far that I could go, because now I have all this time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, at least before COVID, one of the biggest excuses that people would give was, I don't have the time. You know what I'm saying? So now that you got all this time, if you still ain't becoming what you trying to become, you the problem now. You know what I'm saying? And so within sitting with that, like, I did a lot of studying and a lot of learning. I probably listened to more albums in 2020 in 2021 than I have ever, you know what I'm saying, just kind of looking at these people that I considered great and trying to figure out what made them great. Like, what is it about this person that people see and say that person is great, you know what I'm saying? So doing all of this studying, like, man, I listened to so much hip hop in 2021, you know what I'm saying? And then fast forward, the world is opening back up. I think that kind of primed us to be more willing to work together, you know what I'm saying, because we really had to experience what it was like to be without each other, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, like I went from being very much a people person to coming out of lockdown and now having this anxiety about having to interact with people. I never had a social anxiety, but after the lockdown I did. It was just like, bro, I ain't had to deal with these people and I don't know how long, and now I gotta sit here and talk to them face to face. We not on the screen, we not on the phone, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, it just set it up for a different type of situation. Shout out to top artists from the city that maybe aren't living in the industry, but the masterminds and the Tef Poes of the world that also got intentional about bringing artists up and teaching them, you know what I'm saying, about the business, teaching them things that a lot of artists don't get to learn because you don't know to ask these questions. I think recently there has been a lot more of a collaborative spirit in St. Louis. People want to work together. People want to see each other be successful, you know what I'm saying? And that's a different kind of thing from what we were saying 10 years ago. And definitely a different type of thing from what I was hearing about in the times before that. That being said, with y'all being practitioners of art, what's something about the St. Louis art scene that y'all feel like outsiders would misunderstand looking in from the outside? What's something that they would misunderstand?
I would say that it's very diverse. When people think about St. Louis, like Lil Derik said, they don't think about SZA. They think of a rapper like maybe Sexy Red or Big Vid or Nelly. You know, they just group us all in one. Like, St. Louis is this type of genre instead of thinking of it as, kind of like, you know, Lil Derik, you kind of neo-soul type of R&B. Like, I don't hear much of that when they say St. Louis.
Yeah, I was going to agree with her. I think that a lot of people box our music, and even us in St. Louis, in my opinion. Like, when people think about St. Louis rap, they either think about people that are doing like more drill music, or you have the side that does think about like the Tef Poes, you know what I'm saying? I would say myself, Brandon, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's a great disparity between what you get, and even so much that people don't think about, like all of the rock bands coming out of St. Louis, all of the blues musicians that's still coming out of St. Louis. Like, we are, like you said, a very, very diverse city, musically especially, and we have talent all across the board. Some of these people going around doing national tours and people don't even know, like, that's a St. Louis band, that's a St. Louis artist, you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people, like you said, don't really understand how diverse the music scene is, even within genres, you know what I'm saying? Because you of course have the more pop singers that's doing things in St. Louis. You have the people that are more R&B, neo-soul type. You have the more lyrical hip-hop artists. You have the more club hip-hop artists. And all of them are doing different things and it's success on every single side of the spectrum as far as the St. Louis music scene goes. But from the outside, you probably only see one image. Like, a lot of people don't think about Smino at all when they, you know, there's people that in St. Louis that don't know that Smino is one of the biggest artists from St. Louis. They kind of think about Sexy Red or just different artists that have kind of come before her and kind of reached a lot of local fame, I would say. But then that's also, I feel like on one side of the spectrum, it's a lot doubling down. I think a lot of that perspective is because of people within St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? Like, people would ask me about somebody like 30 Deep Grimy because of the type of music he was making and the things that he was doing that kind of made him go viral, compared to somebody like Smino, who was popping before, has toured with artists like T-Pain, is on a Grammy, got a Grammy from the album with J. Cole, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the Dreamville album. So even from inside, that's why people look at us from the outside like that. They see only those artists because those are a lot of the people that us in St. Louis promote the most. You know what I'm saying? So
StitchCast Studio Live is sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts. Learn more at arts.gov. Story Stitch's creative youth development is made possible by the Lewis Prize for Music's 2021 Accelerator Award. The mission of the Lewis Prize is to partner with leaders who create positive change by investing in young people through music. Additional support for StitchCast Studio and Story Stitchers programming is provided by the Regional Arts Commission, the Office of Violence Prevention, in partnership with the St. Louis Board of Alderman through the 2024-2025 programs to reduce crime amongst at-risk youth, and the St. Louis Philanthropic Organization. St. Louis Story Stitchers Studio, the center, is supported in part by Kranzberg Arts Foundation, where St. Louis Story Stitchers is a proud resident organization. Thank you for listening.
They say who that, but you already knew that. That be them Story Stitchers. Story Stitchers, Story Stitchers, Story Stitchers, Story Stitchers.